Well, good morning. It's Sunday morning and bright and early, and it's a wonderful day for a time change to happen. Or is it? For some people, it's still just an hour early, but I did make it. My clock up here, my wall still has time on it. It's the only clock in the house that runs on batteries, and one of three that adjust manually at this time. Hey, Jeff, good morning. You just watched the trailer for The Great Awakening? Get the message out. Really? I haven't heard that. Where'd you find that at, Jeff? That's interesting. Good morning, Uncle Willie. How you doing this morning? And Brian, good morning. Nice to see you guys made it up this morning. I know the time change really messed with a lot of people. I got up this morning at 7 o'clock, which is what my clock did. And my wife goes, "What are you doing up at 6?" Not 6 anymore, it's 7. So it's time to get up. She disagrees, so I'm not sure what time she's going to get up today. But that's beside the point. So I threw a pork butt into the side smoker on my grill yesterday, and they I don't know if I can even pull it up here. I already have 10 items in my uploads. I bought a side smoker attachment for my pit boss grill, and I hadn't used it yet. Burnt it in, and what did let me? So the side smoker on the right side of this picture, I used that last night for the first time. I threw a pork butt into that, smoked that. It uses the heat and the smoke from the smoker, but it takes a lot more time. The temperature is quite different from what the actual pellet grill is. So where I had the grill set at 275, inside of that side smoker, I got to about 225 to 230, and it just kind of stayed there. So it took a long time to smoke, and then my wireless probe that I had in there, the ambient temperature reading on that was off by about 30 degrees. When I was watching the ambient temperature on that, I thought I was at 250. I was actually at 220. Most of the time that I was doing the smoke, I was either out of town and I was watching it half, both the temperature and stuff. It's just crazy. But it turned out really well, and yeah, I actually have a cooler sitting right here, resting. I had bacon and eggs this morning before or after I pulled that off, and I pulled the bone out of it. And of course, a couple pieces of meat came with that bone, so I had to do something with it. So I had to eat, and that's what I had for breakfast this morning. Were these 4 pieces this year, and uh, I managed to eat it all. It was absolutely delicious. Oh, Lee Opus. Watch that. Is that on? Does he have it marked on his channel? Oh, you're not a fan of the competition, neither am I. I think it's probably one of the dumbest things that we do. There's no reason for it. There really wasn't one to begin with. It never did what it was intended to do, then screwed people up in their life. That's all. Forget about forget about time change, went to bed an hour late and got up an hour late. Yeah. But you made it up. That's important. I I woke up early this morning and I don't know why. Well, I do know why my foot cramped. Nearly enough. Literally drank too much coffee. And I'm keeping the trend this morning. Drank too much coffee, too much water without any electrolytes. I won't make that mistake today. I will have my electrolytes because I hate when my feet cramp at night. I went for cramp 3 different times. That's terrible. Yeah, I like Lee Kopus, Carnivore or Kent Carnivore. I do like him. He's got an amazing story. If you've never watched him, you should watch him. Check out his channel. He has some great information about diet because he lost his uh, colitis or what was it he had? He lost his intestinal tract that got pulled out, so he has a bag now. And that all happened before he went carnivore. It wasn't until he had that colostomy bag he started to realize that anything he ate that was a plant of any type, whether it was bread or the actual plant or whatever, was not digested in his body. But meat is just about completely digested and it just comes out as basically goo, which is cool. But he's one of the guys that I first started watching. I started my carnivore diet. I saw, and it's amazing what he went through with all that. Right here, Ken Carnivore, Lee Kopus. He's one of our British friends that has amazing results on this diet. Check him out. And again, this is part of this pulled pork butt that I did. It was just a 6 pound pork butt. And where I put my probe in, the highest temperature that wireless meat probe I had got to was 191. And I brought my instant meat out there and I started probing around it. And the lowest I got with that, outside of where my other probe was, the lowest I got from that was 205. And you can see it still got a lot of shine to it. There's a lot of juice still left in this. It's actually really good. But the instant probe, right, right next to the wireless probe, did read about 195. Move it over just an inch from there, and it was over 200 degrees. I don't know. I hit that exact wrong spot to put that probe in. It was probably done a couple hours ago, but it is absolutely delicious. Had a really nice smoke ring in it, has a really nice flavor. It's using the bare pellets on that. The oak. I love the oak flavor on any smoke. It's just delicious. So, what is going on with everybody today? Does anybody have anything they want to talk about? Frustrating weekend with hockey this weekend. Our local team really did not do well. Really kind of frustrated with the way they played. Friday night, they won overtime against a team that is not even a good team. And our team played at their level, and it was really frustrating. Last night, our guys didn't look like they showed up at all. Friday night was a 2-1 score. Last night, we lost 7-2. But it also doesn't help when blame officials on this one. When you look, 11 penalties called on one team and 4 on the other. You have fighting penalties called on one team, not the other. The officials just suck. One of the other players was skating down. He slipped and fell on the floor. There wasn't even one of our players near him. Our closest player got a penalty. How? Immediate timeout. During the timeout, they called a hooking penalty on a player. who had just come on the ice wasn't even part of the plays. These guys were just atrocious officials. Hard enough playing and 5-on-5, but when you got 5-on-8, it's just terrible. You were thinking about getting a smoker, just don't know which one to go with. Yeah, I did. I watched a lot of videos on the smokers, and the one I chose a pit boss. Um, I wish I'd have done just a little more research on mine because the one I have is the Austin X. It has the shelf where you can. It's got the warming shelf up top. There was another version and it was only $50 more that had a full shelf, second shelf up top. That's the one I would have moved to because with these pellet grills, you have the fire pot and you get the heat onto the meat. You gotta have something there to block that drip and diffuse it. When you don't have that full second shelf above the regular one, you really have a hard time. And then you'll end up crispy spots on the bottom side of your meat that you're cooking. So I find one with at least 2 full shelves on it, so that you or 2 full racks, so that you can cook on. Put a container on the main rack with water in it to help diffuse the heat, make it go around, and smoke it for the offset smoker. That's what this actually does here. Where did I put it? Yeah, that back is attachment does here. It lets the heat come in and roll around the top, and it will roll around. So it cooks it more like off that smoker does. And it took a little longer to cook it on here than what it normally does when I cook it on the main grill. Yeah, forgive this year. This was done this year on this grill. It was probably about 28 degrees out. Remember, I'm in North Dakota. This was put on in the first part of February. It was cold out. But I do have to go out and clean this up. Today's supposed to be in the 60s today here in March, which is unbelievable. I can probably go out and clean this up and make some adjustments to this grill, so because it needs to be cleaned up. I need to clean it out on the inside. That smoker attachment that is actually really cool. I like that thing. Yeah, they do cost a little bit of money, but man, they are worth it. Now you can actually do the same thing with something very similar with a charcoal grill, with kettle grills, the old style charcoal grills. You can do about the same thing with charcoal and wood chips, where you lay them out in a specific design and stuff, and you can slow cook meat just like that too. Debated about doing that instead of buying my pellet grill, but I thought the pellet grill because I like to cook in the wintertime too on the grill. Yeah, pellet grill I can still cook in the wintertime on it. I don't think I'd be able to do these cooks like this here with a charcoal grill. But you never know. Exactly my we looked at a store here in Mountain yesterday. My wife my grandson's birthday was in February. And he likes my brisket. He wants a brisket for his birthday. I haven't made it for him yet. So we stopped at one of the stores here, and they sell the flat or the brisket. Or the point is cut off. And I figured it's a buck a pound more, or up to 2 pounds, $2 more per pound. I really consider buying it like that. Their regular brisket, a whole brisket, the back brisket they were at $7.99 a pound, which is outrageous price. Just for their flat, they wanted $15 a pound. And because you're paying for the point that isn't there anymore. Just ridiculous. But somebody's got to buy it. I couldn't do that. Oh, you're missing your dehydrator. Yeah, that's one of the things I did. I bought a vertical smoker and then it was down to 130 degrees. So I was able to get some diet round roast, have it sliced and season it and dehydrate it. It was actually so much nicer than buying jerky from the store. It costs so much, you know, mess it up. And oh, I know that's one of the things I did is I did a lot of people on YouTube for smoking meat. One of the better ones that I watched is actually Meat Church. Matt from Meat Church, the founder of Meat Church, he did an amazing video on there for using his seasonings and how to cook different things. Some really good stuff. And there's a lot of other guys out there that do some really cool stuff. So I like watching them. I think I probably have probably 20 different channels I subscribe to just that are dedicated to smoking. I really should do a video on smoking a brisket or ribs or something. That'd be cool. I don't have the patience to do the editing that is needed to do stuff like that. I'm an editor. I spend a lot of time at work and when I get home at night and on weekends. Oh. We're having the pulled pork tonight, or I don't know if I'm going to pull it or if I'm just going to take it and slice it and, like and eat it like that. Oh, it's amazing flavor. I just haven't decided how we're going to eat it. But after I eat tonight, which will probably be about 5 o'clock tonight, maybe 6, I'm going to be fasting until after my dental appointment. Two teeth are going to be pulled, and I got a bridge that's going to, or temporary bridge that's got to heal for like 3 months before I get my permanent bridge in. Uh, well, that's going to be a fun day. But I noticed when I had this tooth pulled, I ended up fasting with this tooth when it broke because I couldn't eat anything. Every time I did anything with my mom, it was more and more of that tooth out. And I hadn't had any pain yet, so I was kind of fast. So I ended up like I was over 40 hours fasting when I had this. Well, hey, good morning, Larry. How are you doing this morning? It's a beautiful day. Hey, check this out, Larry. This is what fell off the bone when I pulled it out this morning. I just pulled the pork butt off the smoker. Man, was that good. Bacon, eggs, and pork butt. It's nothing better than that in the morning. But I do plan on fasting again for my dental. I hate dentists. I hate going to see them, but I do need some work done. One of the things that happens when you have any infection in your mouth, blood sugars go up. And I learned this from my dentist, actually, through her issue. Yeah, I smoked it on my offset or my on this side smoker off this pellet grill, and it took a lot longer than I expected it to. My wireless probes were off by about 30 degrees, so it was really warmer than what it actually was. So it's a lot longer for it to smoke. Yeah, mine. I have a lot less issues with my teeth. Um, these actually was the reason I was going to the dentist was for this broke. I was eating a piece of candy like 2.5 years ago, and this one broke. This one here had been broke. The filling I came out with a piece of Swedish fish, a red gummy candy, pulled the filling I had in it right out, and that was a few years ago. But when it broke a couple weeks ago. It was just I was eating a piece of meat and I bit down and I felt the crunch and it was a soft piece of meat and bone and everything. I'm like, oh, that's not good. I pulled out and a big old chunk of my tooth. So my appointment to fix this tooth being to have this one removed. Lots of fun when that happens. Stand. Oh, that shot just gives me the willies. Now I know I've had a lot of work on this one here. This one, um, front tooth is a post already, so I got hit in the mouth when I was a young lad, and it ripped the tooth all the way up to the gums, and they wouldn't do anything permanent to it until I was an adult, and I had a post put in there. In the military, I had issues with infections in it, and they had my gums back to break out the infection. And when I went in, and I saw for this one, the X-rays, this one had a abscess at the bottom already. This was abscess too, and I never knew it because it was a draining. But that's one of the things I had noticed prior to breaking was that my blood sugars slightly elevated they normally were. They weren't coming down like I would normally expect them. And the last fast I did before that happened, my blood sugars never went down to the low 70s or 60s like it normally does get to a certain point, which seemed kind of strange to me. But it makes sense if I have an infection in my mouth, blood sugars aren't going to go down. If you have an abscess anywhere, the abscess is a basically glucose. It's something that your mouth is producing sugar, it goes right into your blood and it keeps your blood low. That's why when my wife was coming through her dental issues, her A1C and her blood sugar remained elevated to a certain point. Even her dentist, once she got down to where she was when he worked, he said, "Oh, come down and go further until her teeth were removed." And he was right. Once she got rid of that infection, all her teeth pulled out. She got rid of the infection in there after the antibiotic. You could see her blood glucose just curved down. It was actually really nice to see, and just like he said it would. But it's amazing what happens if you have issues with your teeth. A lot of people don't think about it. I never thought about it, and it's quite amazing. Now, I sent a couple pictures into Larry this morning, and one of them was the briskets or the eggs and bacon, and but, but one of the things that a lot of people see are the before and after pictures. Now, I started the carnivore diet when I was about 347 pounds, and to about 335 pounds in August. In December of 2023, I was 347 pounds. I found a picture of me when in March of 2024. So that was a few months before I started the carnivore diet. And you can see the size of my face in this picture. And now I'm pushing the fabric on that jersey. That's a 3XL jersey. And I am absolutely pushing it to the limit. And this is me at the end of February this year. And this is a large jersey. And there's no string, it's loose. I probably could have gotten a medium one, but this one's actually a game jersey team. So it's just amazing. I sent these pictures to Larry to you in the meeting in the morning. You don't miss your teeth at all? Yeah, my wife doesn't either. Ones that she has so many issues with her teeth. And now that you see people always assume that they're drugs or whatever or alcohol, and it's not true. So many people have issues with their teeth that have absolutely don't want to do that kind of stuff. My wife doesn't drink, she doesn't do drugs, she doesn't. And her teeth were just, yeah. Mary went through hell for years, and I know exactly what you're talking about because my wife has been doing it. We'd actually been trying to get her into this dentist for 3 years, and you wouldn't do it until her A1C was under control. And we tried the shots, we tried the different medications, we tried diabetic diets. It wasn't until I started work, my wife got a CGM, and she started seeing everything affected her. Everything affected it. Everything she ate except for, and she slowly started cutting stuff out, and she's done this on her own. She's done a really good job doing that. It was amazing how long it took, and you follow the advice of the doctors, you follow the advice of nutritionists and dietitians, and they're all telling you stuff to do that's been taught to them as what they should be doing. It's wrong because it's all being bought and paid for by the companies that are poisoning us. Yeah, it's a big difference, huh, Brian? I can't believe how much of a difference that my body has gone through, and it's really cool. Yeah, pretty good before and after. And I didn't even do this here for weight. I My carnivore journey didn't start for weight loss. My carnivore journey started to get off of pills. Yeah, it's good to see Larry here. What time are you doing your live stream this morning, Larry? You feel free to use chewing tobacco for years. Hey, I did. I, I used. I I started chewing tobacco when I was 12 years old. What was it? Beach Nut and Red Man. My dad used to have pouches of Beach Nut and Red Man, and we used to steal it from him all the time. And then I went to. I had probably chewed skull once or twice, and that original wintergreen was just disgusting. I found Copenhagen, and I chewed Copenhagen from the summer I turned 12 last year. February 28th of last year, I stopped chewing Copenhagen. And it actually wasn't hard. Um, in January, I started chewing Zin, and I started with the 3 month. I chewed that with my Copenhagen. I weaned down on my Copenhagen until February 28th last year. I stopped chewing Copenhagen altogether. And March 28th, stopped chewing Zin. And I've been nicotine tobacco free for almost a full year now. Tobacco for a full year. Yeah, it is a huge change. The body, I have a weighted vest I can put 40 pounds of weight into. I can go outside and start walking. I might actually do that this afternoon, but I want to go out there and walk in that. And just walking in the house and wearing the house, I've taken out 20 pounds of it. I've got 20 pounds left. I've lost 140 pounds. If I put 40 pounds back into that thing and walk around, man, does that hurt? Oh, you're doing it 69. Awesome. Cool. I know I knew you wouldn't be in here, Larry, if you were doing it right after mine, after this show, because you're doing your show prep. I understand that. So surprised to see you be doing it earlier. Having it later that night is actually pretty good. You were in your teens when you started too, Jeff? Yeah. It's a terrible thing to start when pick up that. Yeah, a pack of chewing freezer last me more than 5 years. It would last me for a lifetime now if I did that because I don't use it. By the way, good morning, Jester. How are you today? Uncle Willie says he quit nicotine December of 24. We still have 3 cans of nicotine pouches. That's awesome. Oh, my mic. My mic is just on the computer over here. I don't have an external mic. I do need to get one of those. I've been looking at them. Not that good, huh? And then I do have like uh, the USB-C connection for my computer, and I do have a USB-C mic, but my camera is also connected to USB-C, so I don't have that option. Let's see. You did it because you were dying. You said to yourself, I said to myself, get to living or get to dying. 200 pounds down, and the other 150 likely to that is great, Brian. It is so nice when 200 pounds down is just, that's a person and a half that you're losing. You still have another 50 to go. You'll get there. Look at Bill Knott. He has had such amazing results from this. I appreciate it, Larry. I know. I appreciate it. I've been looking at the external mics because I know at times the audio just doesn't come through as well on my computer. Uh, Carnivore eventually made it easy to quit smoking cigarettes. It's been a year and a couple of months since you really smoked after more than 35 years. Very low breaks. Yeah, getting off the addiction once you get to a carnivore diet seems to be so much easier. 6 or 7 weeks into my carnivore diet is when I quit drinking alcohol, and I'm an alcoholic. I had I had issues when I was in the military. The day I left the military, when I was getting ready to fly from New Jersey to California to be with my wife, I actually popped open a beer, sat down, before I even had a drink. Early in the morning, actually, it was. I was watching CNN on, I think it was headline news, whatever the heck it was, and the tragedy on. I sat down and watched it. I never took a drink of that beer, and I stopped drinking for like 12 years. Started drinking again. It never did me any good. Just put it that way. But when I was in the military, I had a real issue with drinking. It was bad, and of course, I chewed cocaine for 45 years. That was one of the things that happened when I quit one time. I gained a lot of weight and had some health issues, and I started chewing again, and well, that went away. It's just weird. Yes, as I was able to stop in my 30s, it was brutal. I don't say brutal like Larry does. See, brutal. That's amazing. Just imagine Larry saying that. Okay, you don't know what's going on with your Facebook. You only see your comments. Well, let's see. Are you on the vertical or are you on the regular stream? That's one of the reasons why this happens. At times. You're not on the same scale. Looks like you might be over on the other one. Yeah, you're on the vertical, the original. Yeah, Larry and who else? Jeff, Jester on the vertical. So that's why you're not seeing their comments. Um, let's see. You are in there. I can put them on the screen. Sometimes I like this on the screen like that. Sometimes I don't. It's just different at times. Yeah, and that's I've done that too. I did notice that I got a lot more views than I did on the traditional one, and but it does a lot of people get confused with it. I know putting it up like it's on the screen it sometimes vertical is where the weirdos end up. I end up there doing a lot of times too, and it's just kind of crazy. Hey Jeffy, how are you doing this morning? It's nice to see you. But Jeff is saying hi. Now I did this here the other day when I broke. Was this was Friday night before I went to the hockey game. So I had some ground beef patties with some bacon and cheese and over easy on top. So I love. We used to make these here when I was in the military base that I was at. It was called Smiley Barracks. If I'd had ham on there instead of bacon, that'd been a Smiley burger, is what they called it. Absolutely delicious. Used to love eating those. And it's basically what it looked like before I cut into them. A bunch of gooey melted cheese over the top. Yeah, it's actually cut from the nice brick, not the processed wrapped up cheese. And it was actually really good. Hey, good morning, Bride's Biscuit. How are you doing today? It's nice to see you here. So it was. How's this, Bride's Biscuit? I told you yesterday. You talked about having that pork butt. I threw it and this is what came out of it. These three chunks here is what came off of the bone when I pulled the bone out. But yeah, I had to have it with something this morning, so I had it with bacon and eggs and a little bit of pork. I got that sitting in my cooler over here, wrapped in butcher paper. We're gonna have it for dinner tonight. Absolutely amazing flavor. Yeah, they are having them runny eggs over ground beef patties is it is really really good. Uh, I absolutely love it like that. Yep, good option there. Ground beef and eggs. Oh yeah, smoked pork butt. I was showing the picture of the grill again. Additional attachment. That's where I smoked it in. It takes a little bit longer and a little more patience to cook it in there. And then, of course, my brother's probes had issues last night and today. It is a big slice of heaven right there. So it's I really enjoy. So, and Brasco says as I got further into carnivore, 16 months now, I'm enjoying the food so much more. You never get meat aversion, and it's so easy. And I've hardly ever had meat aversion. Um, I've had a slight aversion to some eggs at times, and I don't eat as many, but I've never really had an aversion. It just I seem to have to go from a ground beef to a steak to eggs. I think having the ability to fast helps with that, so that I don't have issues uh, having meat aversions or having aversions for anything that I'm eating. I think a lot of that has to do with fasting. I think there's something that's everybody should try it at least once. One of your favorites as a child, leftover meat, potatoes fried with eggs on top. That actually sounds really good, Jeff. Uh, having love the old meatloaf. You can make a nice meatloaf, slice it up, let it cool, throw it in the fridge, and not even eat it, and have it the next day. Man, it's so good. Whether it's heated back up or if it's cold, it's still meatloaf is one of my favorites too. You went through some severe meat aversion of a few months in the beginning. It was very hard to push through. Really. See, and I've been really lucky. I've never really had anything like I've always been able to eat meat. You're listening to the macro police though, so it's over consuming. Yeah. And that's you have to watch what you're eating to a point. People like me, I don't get that signal that says you're full, stop eating. For me, it's really hard. Well, when I first started, I was tracking everything. Tracked well, I was tracking everything I ate or drank so I could have the fat and protein macros. I didn't really care about my calories. My calories went anywhere from 2,200 calories to 45 or 4,800 calories, depending upon what I was eating. But what I was watching was the percentage of calories from fat compared to the percentage of calories from protein. As long as I kept my percentage up in the over 70% of my calories coming from fat, when I got to that 75 to 76% of my calories from fat, where my body did the best. There were other times where I got below 70, like at 65% of my calories coming from fat. It helped with other things. So just paying attention to the amount for me helped. I don't know if I'd ever ate enough fat had I not tracked it. I think that's what a lot of people have trouble with in the carnivore, not knowing how much fat they should actually have. They don't know. Like sirloin steak doesn't have enough fat in it. The sirloins are too lean. Uh, a round roast, which you can make tender, doesn't have enough fat in it. That's what a lot of people have issues with is they're not eating fatty meat. Uncle Charlie says I was watching Snake Diet Channel yesterday. He was calling Anthony Chafee Tyson, Ken Berry, and Sean Baker. said you're eating too much fat. And he said he is studying our diet name 2.0. That's funny. Yeah, and Brisbane says that fasting has helped, and I think it has too. I think fasting as a tool is really good. I think it really helps out. Says hi, Larry. You're having two burger patties and two sausage patties covered in lard. Now that actually sounds really good. My wife made 6 pounds of bacon on Friday, and we refilled our container with the bacon fat. So there's a lot more bacon fat again, frying everything with bacon fat. Brisbane says for me personally, intuitive eating put me on the right path. I learned to not eat if I wasn't hungry. And see, and I can I can go off of the I'm hungry and I need to eat signal. When I'm eating that satiated point, I haven't been getting. Here the last couple of weeks though, I've been getting that signal where it says I'm full. Like even today, eating just 3 eggs, uh, pork butt, and the bacon, I'm satisfied. And maybe the last 2 bites of that pork butt, I should eat, but it was delicious. So I did eat it, but I had to see, like I said, I was full and I should stop. So that was the right amount for me to have this morning. I usually don't get that signal, and I'm still just now starting to get to that. So it's a bit different. I wish I could get that signal more often. Brisbane said just big fatty cuts of meat, 70 80 is where I settled, and there today, 80-20 ground beef is what you crave. Absolutely, that 80-20 ground beef is done really well for me. I actually feel okay. I buy rib roast. I don't go out. I don't spend $23 a pound on ribeyes. Spend $9.99 a pound on ribeye. The ribeyes is 74 to 76 is coming from fat from a ribeye, and that's what I'm my best. My body is really great. If I eat like 22 ounces of ribeye, that's all I need for a day. And my body does really good. I do like to throw some shrimp into it. That's yeah, craving the ground beef, the fatty cuts of meat makes a big difference. Hey, just be less fat. Good morning. I like that picture. You got salt on that. That is amazing. You can definitely see the difference in your body there. Like transformation there. Just be less fat. To this day, you can eat sirloin. You can't eat a sirloin. It's not for you. Yeah. And lyrics to good morning. Just be less fat. Charlie says hi to Larry. Gravity will catch up with Snake. Then they'd be forced to join the human race. Jim Bro is not sustainable ethos. Yeah. I There's so many people out there that are just they don't know better. They think they, but they don't. Uncle Charlie Olmad last night, grass-fed beef, 12 ounces bacon, whole eggs, 4 yolk, and butter. Nice. Actually sounds really good. Remember what I had for dinner last night? We My mom had surgery last week. We spent a lot of time. It's actually a week before we spent a lot of time up on the school with her and stuff. And the end of the last week of February, and we spent a lot of time up at the hospital with her. She's been home now for a week, and we went up there yesterday to visit. So after my screen yesterday, I threw that pork butt on the smoker and Went up there, spent the day up there, came home, I ate real quick, and then we went to the hockey game. Uh, I don't even remember what I ate. I know it was beef. It was a hamburger patties again. And the one works, it does. We have reversed hormone signaling is very subjective, and it is. And a lot of this is that's what I'm sharing here, and that's what you guys are sharing in the comments are our own animal experiments. We're experimenting on ourselves. You'll have people that will ask you, well, where's a study that shows that the carnivore diet works? Look at YouTube. There's thousands of videos out there. There's thousands of people putting this information out there every day. But show me the study that shows that the standard American diet is good for us when we put us on it. Back in 1977, they came up with the food pyramid. What study did that food pyramid come off of? It didn't. It was an advertising campaign by the USDA. There was no study on it. Now, 50 years later, we have a study. We have more diabetes than ever. We have more obesity. We have more diseases than ever since 1977 and put us on all that crap. That's your study that shows that that diet doesn't work and it's not healthy for us. Yeah, they don't sell roast beef for under $12 a pound, but you do enjoy chuck when it's on sale. Yeah, and that's crazy that these cheap roasts they have, you can't find them cheap anymore. It's nuts. Our local store here just had 1 day sale for there were several different meats that they had in there, but they had the rib roast on sale for 90 a pound, and my wife picked up a couple of them because they're delicious, and she's actually getting into the ribeye. She likes ribeye, and now that she has teeth, she can eat them a lot better, and they're especially when they're tender. Switching over, we always pick the wrong format. We were just talking about that a little bit ago. It happens. Brian bypassed 23 years ago. If you overeat, you're done. We'll get crazy sick. Was having a hard time getting enough protein in, doing better than you were. Still working on that. Yeah, it's a lot of times it's hard to get there. Sorry for those folks because they crash. Their crash is coming. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you know what? In the corner. Yeah, rice biscuit is here. We're lost on the mobile. Yep, and it happens. All those studies got buried when the evidence was yes, absolutely. Because their own studies are under no obligations to publish them. Absolutely. Ansel Keith put out that stupid freaking study that got saturated fat blamed for heart. The 7 country study or whatever. There's actually like 22 countries, but only 7 of them. And then they did the Minnesota coronary study, which contradicted everything in that and showed that it wasn't done. They removed this information from it, and all the research got put into somebody's attic, and it didn't get released until it was like 2014, 2016 or something like that. It's just crazy. Doesn't make any sense. Other than people are being paid off to do it. A market manipulation, and it's very intentional and uncontrollable. And I agree. You know, yeah, I I can't go down that one there. Pediatrics and child health just confirmed best case reports published the last 25 years are in fact fictional. Yes, they're making junk up. Where's the study that breathing all this air is healthy? All studies, man, I agree. Yeah, in seven countries. The sugar industry exposed for being off the studies, and they have the sugar industry, um, a specific church organization that has funds into medical establishment and funding for a lot of the education of our medical responsible for a lot of this garbage that is, yeah, and he took his name off of that because it contradicted everything that he was being paid by the sugar companies to put out there. Nutritional science is anyhow and by ethics. Yeah, they don't have a whole lot of ethics, do they? I would have never done surgery if I had known about the carnivore diet. You weigh 700 pounds then and turn everyone you talk to carnivore. That is easy and you still going down. So you are on the same path as Bill Knock then. That is really great. It's nice to see that you're going down. How much have you? You said you've lost 200 pounds. You got another 150 to go. You're looking to get down to half the weight that you were. That's amazing. Oh, you think his check was 65,000? That's what all our health is worth, right? $65,000 back in '60s was it that he did that study? And that's all it took to pay off to screw the country and the world for the next 50 to 60 years, 70 years. And it's crazy how influential a stupid study that was falsified has really harmed everybody's life. It's just crazy. So I want to show this again. These are pictures of what I look like prior to going on the carnivore diet. Me with my grandkids, throwing one of them up in the air, having fun. Where I was at the state fair and I'm on a scooter because I can't walk. Uh, these little ones here are part of the reason why I do. They are my why. My wife is my why. My kids are my why. Looking like this and being unhealthy is not what I want to do. A year after being on carnivore, huge difference in a year. This diet has so much to benefit from. In this picture here, I was on 5 blood pressure medications. My blood pressure was still high. I started the carnivore diet shortly after that picture. This picture was in March. I started the carnivore diet in August. And I went from 335 pounds in August. In the first 6 weeks, I probably lost 30 pounds, still over 300 pounds. But in that 6 weeks, I came off all 5 of those blood pressure medications. I didn't need them anymore. My sleep improved. I was actually sleeping all night. I woke up in the morning and I wasn't hurting. That was one of the first things that happened. I woke up probably the first week, a week into it, I woke up and I was able to wake up right away, which was unusual. I used to have 5 alarms set to wake up to, and it took me all 5 to get out of bed. One day, my alarm went off, and I was wide awake, ready to go. And then I noticed I didn't have pain when I got out of bed. I woke up, I sat up, and my head was clear. I stood up, my ankles, my knees didn't hurt. I had to massage them and move around for minutes before I even tried standing up. There's just so many benefits that happen right away, even before you start losing weight. But I did this diet not to look like this. I started this diet because I wanted to be there for, oh, where is it? For these little ones. I wanted to be there for my, I didn't want her being without me in her life and going through life alone. That's why I did this. I don't care. 180 pounds is your goal. You just want to be healthy, right? And I have a goal weight that I want to get to now. And if it takes a while to get there, I'm fine with it. I'm I'm not gaining any weight slowly, but I'm healthy and I feel. And thank you very much. It's amazing. It was. You didn't do before pictures because you already had 30 plus people looking that way. That's an awesome transformation. Thanks. I appreciate that, Bryce Biscuit. I didn't actually do before pictures. I had to find that picture. I can't find one of me alone. I have another picture of me with my wife. It's from July, end of July 2024, but it doesn't really, it shows my face being a lot bigger, but not how big the body was. Hey, Terry, good morning. How are you doing today? There's some nice biscuit there. Just at a market in Toronto, picked up 2 nice steaks. Awesome. That's right. You're up in Canada. Just be less fat. It's a hell of a journey. It's been a fun journey. I've enjoyed everything I've gone through with this so far, meeting so many nice people. Actually, starting this channel was probably one of the weirdest things I ever did because up until, you know, not that long ago, I don't like people. That's my wife. I used to tell her that all the time. I said, you're within 2 pounds of your lowest in 35 years. Congratulations, brides. This is amazing. I've hit that point here last month where I got down to my lowest in 30 years. It's an amazing thing to hit. Now I just got to get on to that one line where I want to be and then be able to enjoy that. Do I have new pictures with my shirt off? Nope, I don't. But that might be coming soon. It's going to start. Yeah, I'm not afraid to take pictures like that or have pictures taken like that anymore either. Yeah, later on the movie end. Have a good one. Thanks for stopping by, Terry. Um, just be less fat. It's a nice breakfast. 5 years old, only 9 pounds heavier than you were in sixth grade. Wow, that's a big difference there. You're pretty big in sixth grade, huh? Let's see, Brad, don't really have a weight goal. Just want to reverse every disease you have. It might be possible. You can always try to do better. Yep. That's my it's for me. It took me a long time to the weight that I was. It took a lot of years for me of being unhealthy to go back and forth and up to that weight. It's going to take a long time for me to heal everything that damaged by all those years of bad. I could. I'm not going to right now, though. Your married weight, next milestone was college weight. Well, when my wife and I got married, I was heavy and overweight. We both were. So, Rick, good morning. It's nice to see you. Nice seeing you on high school weight is likely on the table, but unnecessary also. I don't think I'd want to get down to my high school weight. My high school weight was 170s. When I joined the military, it was at 170, 177. I was a very skinny. Way too late for me. 190 would be perfect where I'd want to be. Nice job, Bride's Biscuit. And Ricky's been at his college weight most of his life. Yep. That's healing for him, and it is. Like I said, I didn't do this for weight loss to begin with. I did this to heal my body. Weight loss is the benefit, and I think that goes with the healing. The more I heal, the more weight. You're one foot in the grave for too long, and you have a new perspective. Yeah. I see that from a lot of us. There's a lot of us that feel that way. I can with doctors, Dr. Paul, me said, question every patient should ask their doctor. Yeah. Dr. Kent has the lies my doctor told me. It's also got the Common Sense Labs, which I had the book right here. Like in a nice knife that I got. I got a really nice knife to cut my steaks out of my roast. But Dr. Barry has the Common Sense Labs. It's a great book. Got a lot of great information. Anybody take that. Can you please provide me with the study evidence that this treatment, which is relevant to me, will reduce my all-cause mortality or improve my survival? I don't think a doctor would know how to answer that question. They get really frustrated, and depending on the day that they have, they kick you out of the Uncle Charlie says he was 325 pounds, 180 weight. Amazing. That is congratulations, Uncle Charlie. That is amazing weight loss. That's amazing transformation for your body. Yeah, Bryce says he's 156 now. You think about it, although the weight charts would say that's healthy for you, right? And I don't really agree with weight charts, and I never really have. Now I'm at 224 pounds. That's just, to me, I'm healthy at that weight. My body does really good at it. It feels really good being that weight. 150 pounds here. Yeah. Just walking up the stairs to get to our seats here was tough. Out of breath. Um, you can't see me sweat. That one. Brian, you're lower now than you were. Cool. One, that's good. There's so many people that got big in school and state. You going up and down the stairs more than I am myself in the mirror. Yeah. Going up and down the stairs help you now. When I was 350 pounds, that was torture. But now I don't mind doing it. I got to help my son here in a little bit, change out an alternator and stuff because that thing is bad. And then after that, I think I'm going to throw my weighted vest on the block here just to see how I do on a mile walk with that weighted vest. Jeff, my high school weight 135 will never make it. Don't want to. Yeah, sometimes our high school weights are just we were too. Doing common sense labs on weeks back, reading it now ahead of my PCP appointment yesterday. Plus, we already did the common sense labs and sent it in and got the results back. That's great. Weight charts, bone, um, not at all. And that's a lot of what people don't understand. You know, back in the day when I was working out every day, when I was down to 212 pounds, sanity, I was actually a lot thinner. I had a lot more muscle than I do now. If I started working out and I burned more of this fat, swapped it out with muscle, I'd probably be doing a lot better. But I don't like working out. How old am I? I'm 59 years old. I turned 59 back in January. I started the Carnivore Diet at 57, and I've been on it for just over 18 months now. Yes, it's Africa. Yeah, stairs terrified me for years. No longer. Yeah, no, I completely understand that. I know what that pain is all about. It hurts. How much that weigh in the picture? This picture was in March of 2024. In December of 2023, months before this, I was 347 pounds. This picture here, 207. So I've lost, for my heaviest weight, I've lost 140 pounds. On carnivore, I've lost 128 pounds. So I've lost quite a lot of weight. That's a side effect of getting off of all those medications. Go for your walk now. Awesome. Get that walk in, and I'll be joining you after this. Sometime this afternoon, I'm going to take that weight vest and I'm going to go out and I'm going to walk. Maybe I'll do a video up there, put that up here too. That'd be something. Jeff says I had a couple years of growth after high school. Yeah, since high school, I've actually grown. Well, I was about 6'1" when I graduated. 6'3" now, and I've shrunk a little bit. Muscle is denser than fat mass. Yeah, it takes less room on the body than fat does for the same amount of weight. We just turned 60. So we're about the same age, Brian. It's I can't imagine where I'd be or even be here. Was in that picture that I showed at the hockey arena there, I was so heavy. I was scared. I didn't know how long I was going to live anymore because my blood pressure on 5 medicines wasn't getting any better. Before and after pictures look similar. They probably do, right? It'd be interesting to see before and after your high school pictures now. Just age a little bit, but your body is still probably about the same because you've been doing this the right way for years. But I watched that be 58 next month. Congratulations. Nice to start getting healthy. It takes so much strain off of our bodies. I watched the video of you and Amy doing the heart attack burger where Amy made those. I'm gonna have to try that heart attack burger. That was actually it looked really delicious. I have the same waffle maker or flat iron to make the burger buns with and everything. I've made those before with a waffle iron and just end up. Yeah. It looks absolutely amazing. I'm gonna try that heart attack burger. listen to Walking on Sunshine on your walk. That's funny. Yeah. Full size by age 24, 6'6", 195 pounds. And that's right where you should be, Rick. Um, you know, I reached my full height, when was it, 2006? I was 6'4". And at that time, I was about 250 pounds. Uh, since I've got to 347, I'm at 6'3". I've lost a little bit of weight. Haven't grown anymore. When I reached that 6 foot mark, it was actually a result of seeing the chiropractor. I kind of hurt my back, sprained my back, working on the oil field, and I was going to the chiropractor. I'm working 4 days on, 4 days off to begin with. And my 4 days off, I'd see the chiropractor twice. The day I got home, the day before I went back to work. And then when I started working a week on, week off, I did the same thing, but I'd see him twice a week. And after doing that for about a year, we went back to business where we moved from here. And before we moved, wife marked the kids on her kitchen door frame to see where they were. So the next time we visit, she'd have their measurements. And before she made a joke. She wanted to do that with me too, so she'd see how much I was going to shrink. And when she measured it, I was 6'3" to begin with. And when we came back a year, it's just over a year later, came back to visit, and she wanted to see how much I shrank. She went up there and she marked me, and I was just over 6'4", like four and almost. And she was amazed. And the only thing that was different is I was seeing a chiropractor on a regular basis. My spine was in problem. Big change. Jojo, just curious if I ever had a CAC scan. Nope, I've never had one. I've actually looked at it. The closest one to me is 2 hours away. Right up farther. In your 60s, you have range over your life between 12 and 15% fat. Yeah. I think right now I'm at 26 or 25. Oh, that's BMI. I don't know what my body fat is. I'd have to actually measure it out, do some measurements. Rick gauges like a photo just around the edges. Great. You're doing several walks, about 1.5 miles 6 times a day. That's actually really good, Uncle Willie. It gets you out there, gets you moving, and that actually helps a lot. You don't know what back pain feels like. You are very lucky. So much problem with my back. You haven't shrank in height yet. You can see how tall you are. Yeah, in your live stream. Absolutely. I never actually get to see live streams on Saturdays, Rick. I'm just crawling out of bed about the time you start. Hey, good morning, John. We have a new video out. I saw that right before I start my live stream. I'm gonna have to watch that when I get here. Amazing music. If you haven't watched John on his channel, he does his carnivore story through music and amazing music. Rice biscuits. And what would I do with a CAC score? Yeah, I don't know if I actually did. I have a CAC. I'm trying to think when first surgery in 2017, and since before I had that and after I had that, I had so many things done in getting to that section in my medical. I've actually got stuff saved on the computer somewhere. I don't think it's this computer, this computer, where I downloaded all the information. I've had my heart looked at in so many different ways, and I've had so many things done. And I had any issues. That was one of the things that my doctor was, uh, cardiologist before I had my surgery was very happy with was that I didn't have any plaque in my arteries. I didn't have any concerns. He had no concerns about my arteries. The only thing I was having with was extra heartbeat where I was in AFib places in my heart other than the side, telling my heart to beat. And my heart rate would go from 160 to 25 to 160, everywhere in between at any time. It was just crazy. But I know they went through my arteries and my heart and stuff several times before I had surgery just to make sure that there was nothing that we were going to have to do. Because my original cardiologist referred to himself as a plumber. He's the one that went in and did stuff like putting sticks, cleaned up the arteries and stuff like that. Cardiologist that actually did my surgery was the electrician. He's the one that dealt with the electrical impulses and stuff like that. Beats. So between the two of them, they were happy with the way my heart looked. My 14-year-old son is almost 6'3", but he's only 140 pounds. Yeah. But he's 14. He'll gain some of that weight. He's got a fast one habit with him now. But if you search YMCA BF formula or BF formula, you can take measurements of your body fat estimate. And you average it. Yeah. There's a couple of them. I know there's a couple of places that you can do that with. And I've done it before, just to see what my body is. I can tell you my neck right now, it's 16 and a quarter inches. And around my belly, I don't know what that was. Is 35 or is it 36 and a half inches? But it's not bad. You did have an angiogram once, and the cardiologist remarked to my primary there was no arteriosclerosis detected. Right. And I had I had a bunch of different tests, and one of the damn tests that they do, man, and I don't ever want to do that one again because just the way it makes you feel. It's a ultrasound. I think it's an they inject you with a substance and they warn you before it happens that you're gonna feel like you peed your pants. And Chuckling is like, no, seriously, you're gonna feel like you did. You did. Just don't move. You did. And by God, he injected that stuff in my arm. Within seconds, I swore that I had, because that's exactly what I feel like. But I didn't have any issues with my heart then. Jeff said his doctor offered a CAC test. He said, no, the blood markers are good. Right. And I haven't had my cholesterol checked, so I don't know how my cholesterol was out of whack. Right. I had my heart surgery, my cholesterol was bad. Yeah. I didn't have issues with plaque in my arteries, so I don't expect to have it now. What is my full day of eating? Depends upon the day. Like today, I started my day with this. Why? Because I pulled this out of the pulled the bone out of the pork that I smoked, and these three pieces came right. So I figured like three eggs, and if I eat bacon, I don't eat any less than 8 pieces of bacon. So that's 8 pieces of bacon, 3 eggs, 3 pieces of pork butt. And that was what I ate. What do I typically eat? Typically in a day, I'll eat something like this. I'd say 22-ounce ribeye and shrimp. Or one of my favorites is a power bowl, 6 eggs, a pound of ground beef, and 8 pieces of bacon. 5 of them are cut up and crumbled in there, and 3 just laying on top. And that's what I eat for the day, or pound and a half of ground beef patties and shrimp. This is what I typically eat. When I cook these patties, you're not seeing it in here, but the excess fat, the rendered fat that comes out of this, is put back on top of this, so that when I eat all of it. That's what I eat. John says under my understanding of the best artery test, this is CIMT test is non for soft plaque and hard plaque. Yeah, there's a couple different tests that do that. See what I eat? What I eat? Eat a fucking steak. This is Carnivore JT. Love that guy. Haven't seen Carnivore JT? You should. Uncle Charlie, do I have a six pack? Okay. At one point, I did. And then I was working out 6 days a week, and then I ended up having heart surgery after that, and I had anxiety, and I haven't worked out really since. So, do I have a six pack? I do. I do have a six pack. It's just currently surrounded by a keg. So, yeah, I'm a smart ass, but I can be that way. I challenge. But I do. I still have muscle. I have a little excess skin here, so you won't find a six pack here. But I still have a lot of muscle there. Even when I was heavy, flex and tighten up my muscle, you could hit me in the stomach, and you wouldn't go very far. I do have a lot of muscle in my stomach. I've always had a good stomach. Rise Biscuit says I have a full keg. Yep. All right. That's an old joke that I've used for a long time. Even when I was doing the insanity workouts and back, I would still harass people. People always ask, "Oh, do you have a six pack?" Yeah, I have a six pack. It's just surrounded by a cake. We all have a six pack, just subcutaneous, and it's there. From a lot of what I've learned the last, well, since 2014, but a lot more that I've learned here in the last year. Those who are showing that six pack are not the healthiest people. Getting down to that body fat percentage where you will see that six pack is not necessarily the healthiest thing for you to do. I'm trying to get healthy, so I don't want a six pack. That's not a sign of health. Jojo says all my blood markers are excellent too. But your CAC said 277. Stress test was excellent. You're assuming you have eating standard diet for many years. 65 for 2 years. Have you had a CAC scan before this, or is this your first one, Jojo? Because now you have a marker, and now you can test to see where you are from year to year. And a lot of people really doesn't matter. Some people have really high CAC scores, and they don't have any issues with their heart. So the number is just a number. Get down to 12% body fat, and you'll see it. And I don't want to be that. I don't think I want to be that low on my body fat, because what happens if all of a sudden we can't get food? You're at 12% body fat. Well, then I don't have much fat to use to continue living, right? Right now, I don't know, whatever my body fat percentage is, I've got a few months I can live. No, I do. Joe, almost 2 years. 2 years ago, you had one. Brian said, "Me too. My six pack is surrounded by us." You had a growler. Yeah. Your first one was less than a year ago. What was your score on your first one compared to this one? Was there a difference? Did you go up or down? Did it stay the same? You were a gym rat. You were able to get the shortest definition, probably below 10% body fat. And that's when I was doing insanity. I know I might have had very low subcutaneous body fat, and the uh, visceral fat was still pretty big because I was eating a lot of plants. You'll need the fat when the zombie apocalypse. Yep, and that's I don't have to run faster than you, or I don't have to run faster than you. Uh, I have a T-shirt that I got from my son, and it has something to do with in case of a zombie apocalypse, I'm tripping you first. Oh, you've only had the one CAC your carnivore, so you don't know what it was before, and that marker now is just really benchmarks, but you can see what happens in coming years. And there's no saying that your score is going to go up. There's no saying it's going to go down. One of the things that Kiltz, he got obsessed with his CAT score and all that stuff for a while, and he had his doubts. And actually talking about this one, or is it Friday? That he was talking about. And it's just one of those things. You, it's a marker. Um, it doesn't really mean anything right now until you have another marker, and even then, it's not necessarily something that is worrisome. Bryson says, "Yep, just run faster than the next guy." Also, he planned on tying all his shoes up so they can't. So that would be funny on his own. Yep, that's a good idea. You know, somebody dies and tie their shoes together so they can't run and watch them fall over. You know, run a couple steps fall, run a couple steps fall. But then you might end up getting caught because you're laughing so hard. Maybe not do that. That would be funny. Well, it's been, wow, an hour and 32 minutes. I've lost track of time. I mean, there's a good conversation going on here, and I appreciate all y'all. You know, one of the things that I do like to say is meat, be happy, because it's all it takes. Having a good meal of meat, be difference in how you feel and what goes on with your life. You want to get healthy, have a steak. How did the course go with Dr. Kills? The live Zoom? They're actually really good. I was in the second class, which ran over holiday, so it made it last longer. It's a 12-week course or a 12 video course. So now it's on your own pace, so you can do this on your own. They do have a live Zoom call every Wednesday now, just for questions that to the course. And ours went from October until February before we finished it all. We had break for Thanksgiving, a break for Christmas, New Year. There was another one in here for Dr. Nelson because he was traveling somewhere. But the overall course is actually really good. Learned a lot of information in there. I did a deep dive before I ever started Carnivore. A lot of stuff that they course is stuff that I learned in the deep dive. A lot of the studies that they use was part of stuff I did already. But there's a lot of new information. There's a lot of information in it. It's just that way, and you'll learn a lot. Really good course. And that's just, you can see that up on the wall here. We have my Kilt Health certified. It's a Kilt Health certified coach certificate up there. Yeah, worse things than dying laughing. Yeah. Well, again, it's come to the end of a stream. I appreciate everybody here. I'll be back next Saturday at 10 a.m. You all have a great day, and we'll talk to you later. That's crazy if you think about it, but money is pretty tight right now. If you can, and right now is until the end of the month, they're actually offering it for I think it's $4.99, and they're talking about April 1st to going back up to the full price, which is $9.98 or something like that. But if you can swing it, now would be the time to do it. It's going to be the cheapest that it's been, so it is a good course. We all have a great day. Take care. Eat meat. Be happy. And yep, everybody have a great week. Yeah. See you in the springs.